Hey, this is Stacia, and I'm going to share with you my training game. Or, I'm sorry, it's not a training game. This is a tournament game against Snehan Mukherjee, who is a very nice kid that I know that's been coming to Parma Chess Club for quite a while. I know his dad, Sonny, as well. And it was a real pleasure for me to play him. The only downside is that his rating is only 1384, and I know that he's stronger than that. So, yeah, potential to lose rating points. But aside from that, just very happy to play chess at the Parma Chess Club and play somebody that I enjoy so much. So, okay, let's have a look at the game. So, e4, c5, d4, of course, right? Like, I want to play the Smith Morra. He did accept my gambit and played g6. Okay, so here we have like the dragon Sicilian approach with g6. And I remember after the game, Snehan was actually wondering if I could go queen d5 right away. Like, but I think that's just knight f6. I don't think this is anything. There maybe e5, but well, first of all, there's knight c6. But even if the knight goes to h5, I don't think this is anything, right? Like g4, the knight comes here. The knight still has a square. It's awkward. Maybe I should have played it for awkwardness, but if I turn on the engine, I bet it's going to say it's fine. It actually says black slightly better. Wow. Black slightly better, really. Well, I did compromise my king side a bit, and the queen side was compromised earlier, and we're down a pawn. So yeah, this is not the kind of compensation I'm looking for here. So let's go back. So after g6, engine off. I'm going to get my pieces out in typical Morris fashion. Yeah, and he played d6 here. Now, I have to say that I am more used to the move knight c6. This is what is usually played, and here I play e5, offering up a pawn as per Mark Esserman in the Mayhem in the Morra book. And he says that after takes, we play check here, and we play queen d5. That's a fork. If the king comes here, he will get mated, trust me. So they have to go like here, which looks crazy because you're walking at a check, but you have knight f6. So that was how I kind of expected the game to go, I guess. But instead, it went d6. And so here I'm at a book already. I don't know what I'm supposed to do against this. But I know that an early e5 against the Dragon Sicilian with the Morra is a good idea. So I went ahead with e5. I also did notice that he cannot take the pawn. I thought if he takes the pawn, I do not trade queens. No, I play this. Check. Takes, free queen. Yay. Free queens are good. And if he takes with the bishop, it's kind of the same story, right? Like this is still the same thing. And I think the key element in this tactic is that if the king can come to e7 and protect the queen, then you don't have this. But that is not the case here. This would win a queen. Also, if the rook protects, don't do it. I've actually played that in a blitz game where I'm like, yeah, bishop f7, king takes. And then they took with a rook, and I was like, oh. So don't do that. So anyway, e5. Now, I think Mark Esserman calls this cutting the head off the dragon. This is the eye of the dragon. This is the head. This is the tail? Wait, I guess this is the head. Never mind. Okay, anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. But let's cut the head off the dragon. I do not want to allow this structure. So after knight c6, I simply took. Now, do I have better here? It's a very good question. It's a very good question. I actually thought that if you play e5 and you're not planning on taking d6, then you probably shouldn't play e5. Because now it's different, right? Like, if he takes, or I'm sorry, if I just castle, for example, and he takes, I'm not going to win the queen here because after takes, takes. Here, knight takes queen. So yeah, knight c6 does protect against that. So after takes and queen takes, now I had to decide like how, like I had a feeling that white is doing everything right so far, but how do I keep my advantage from here? I'm not sure. Like I could go for development with castles and let him take and just bring a rook to the d file. That's one option. Another option is to just move the queen away. Queen e2 is an option, maybe queen c2. Another option is queen b3. Attack that with tempo. Actually, that feels most correct, especially when I'm explaining it. And another option might be, yeah, I guess that's it. That's pretty much it. So I castled, and it turns out that this is just a blunder. And the reason it's a blunder, though, according to the computer, I think the reason it's a blunder is because I don't have any moves that keep the initiative anymore. I'm just down a pawn, and that's it. So after queen takes and rook takes, you know, I think black can just play normal. Knight f6, castle, you know, whatever. Get your pieces out. And then I'm just down a pawn. So he did do this in the game. So yeah, castles is just wrong, unfortunately. Now I thought about queen e2. I'm going to use the engine here because I don't want to spend too much time. After queen e2, the engine likes black. It says just knight f6 is fine. Okay, let's play that. Okay, I castle. I want to go rook d1 and get a tempo on the queen, right? That's my big idea. They pin me, I go rook d1, and just queen c5, and so what? Like, there's nothing that great, right? I can go bishop c5, I guess, but then queen f5. Yeah, I don't feel like I have any sort of real initiative here. There's a pin, there's a lot of pressure on f3. Black's gonna castle next, no problem. Yeah, this is not what I signed up for. So queen e2 isn't quite right. So actually the correct move is queen takes queen. I think just creating a weakness on d6. I think this is the best way because we can play knight b5 right away. Good luck defending that. You have to move your king. Yeah, you can see I looked at this earlier. Bishop f4. So, okay, that's the way to keep the initiative, apparently. I'm still learning about trading queens and then having compensation for a pawn. That's a fairly new concept to me, but I understand that that's a real thing now. I always thought if you're going to keep the initiative, it's mostly through attacks on the king, but not true. Not true at all. Just get more active pieces. You can win pawns. You can even checkmate without a queen, by the way. I've seen those lines too. So anyway, queen takes queen is the best move, but I also think that queen b3 is a very interesting idea. Just that does keep the initiative, right? If they go e6, I think we're pretty happy. Blocks out the bishop, weakens all the dark squares. Now I will aim to play bishop g5 and I don't know. I'll try to trade this off basically and play in the dark squares with my knights and queen. That would be a good plan. But after queen b3, they can also try knight to a5. So, okay, let's take a pawn. And then in this position, I saw stuff like this actually. Pretty sure. Not totally sure. Maybe after the game I saw it. Okay, so after, I mean, there's no place to go, right? Like our queen cannot continue to protect the bishop and not get captured. So the only move is to play this Evans Gambit style with queen a4. Now if they take, we take. And the computer loves this. It says white has an advantage here. Which makes sense, right? We got back the pawn and we took away castling rights. And we're more active. So therefore, I like this position. So why am I looking at this? Because like, I'm starting to realize in a chess game, if you look down the line and you don't see that, and you don't see that you're better, you won't play it. So that's a problem, right? Like I need to see that queen b3 is the best move here. Well, it's actually not. Queen takes queen is best. But anyway, I was looking only at queen e2, castles, and queen c2. That's it. I didn't look at much else, I don't think. So I did castle takes, and now I'm worse. Now, I saw this knight b5 thing from a distance. I was like, oh yeah, this is how I keep the initiative. I play knight b5, I threaten a fork. He castles, I go bishop f4. You know, when the rook comes to b8 to dodge the knight attack, I move my knight away somewhere, I attack the rook. That's initiative. That's what I thought. Yeah, but it's really not because, okay, I do this. Castles. Okay, I'm in. Rook b8, bishop f4. I got everything that I dreamed of. And then he just plays here, bishop g4. Yeah, I was definitely thinking about, instead of knight b5, playing h3. But, you know, is that even worse than what I did? It could be. Maybe not, because knight b5 is kind of silly. Actually, top engine move h3. But it also says that black is minus 1.3. That means I do not have compensation for a pawn. I'm just down a pawn. And that is why I didn't play h3. And I went knight b5. Like, okay, I either have the initiative or I don't. Turns out I don't. Bishop g4. Yeah. I can move this knight wherever I want. It doesn't really matter all that much, I don't think. Like, I don't know. Like, let's say I go here, you know. Discovered attack on the rook. So what? Black moves their rook, and that's it. There's no initiative anymore. I think it's done. So I should have seen a little bit farther before I went for this idea. But I need to spend more time calculating and visualizing, which I am doing a lot of, by the way. So I will get there. So I played this move, and I played this move after probably 10 minutes or more of thought. But the reason I spent 10 minutes is because I could not find anything. I thought, I either keep the initiative here, or I'm just worse, right? So I was looking and looking, and I looked at this, and that doesn't seem to do anything, right? Just here, and I don't know, there's no initiative. I guess here, and, well, just this even, right? What's wrong with that? That works. If I go here, I was calculating a bunch of stuff with takes and rook takes or bishop takes and trying to figure stuff out. You can always insert this, by the way. So in every calculation, I have to insert bishop takes f3. And you know what? I had the feeling very early on that there was no initiative. I should have went with that because spending 10 minutes was not a smart decision. I played here knowing it wasn't a good move. Engine says -3. It was worse than I thought. So he takes. Now, I could try taking the rook, but I calculated this. I thought after bishop takes rook. I mean, already in this position, we're a piece down. So this does not work. So we have to go after bishop takes. We got to take with a pawn. And after e5, which looked a little weird to me, my spidey sense was like, I don't think this is right. It's either very right or not right. I just simply went bishop g5. Playing for tricks a little bit. I thought if h6, I just might take it. Let's see what the engine says about this. It doesn't seem to like it. Wow, it says white's winning after bishop takes f6. Oh, of course. Why didn't I see this? I really hope I would have seen this in the game. Because that's just, like, that's just a piece. So after this, they would have to protect the knight or take. So he did take. Wow. I don't think I saw this during the game, which is really sad. I was honestly planning on doing this. That would be a huge blunder. Because I thought if he takes, I take check. That's not nearly as good as winning a piece. Wow. Okay. Well, we live and we learn. So bishop g5 takes. And knight d4. Yeah. So that kind of threatens a fork. So we don't want to do that. So king g2. Yeah, it's pretty clear who has the initiative, right? Okay, bishop e3 takes. f6. Bishop e3. Okay, and then after rook e8, I felt a glimmer of hope. Like after this move, I was like, and I kind of saw this coming too, but I was like, I don't know how he really defends his a pawn, right? Like the a pawn. That's my key. I got to win the a pawn. Then I have 5 pawns. He has 5 pawns. Maybe I won't lose. So, okay, I took it. Bishop f8. Again, not sure what bishop f8 is. Engine likes it. Okay. Because, yeah, I'm clearly going to double on this. Because that's what you do if someone doesn't stop you. Now I'm on the pawn. And I could be threatening this check if the bishop wasn't here. But if the bishop moves out, it won't be checkmate because the king can come to f8. So, okay. He played e4. Definitely I'm going to take that pawn. This is nothing because after check takes, everything's protected. g5. b4. Yeah, and I think I'm better now, right? Like, how am I not better? I am better. Let's see what the engine says was the wrong move. Oh, it was this move, e4. Yeah, and I was so low on time. I was just moving almost instantly every move. Spent way too much time trying to keep the initiative. Not enough time with a better position. Yeah, I went b4 because I was planning b4. Bishop c5, and I thought if he takes, it gets kind of interesting. I, at the very least, have a draw. But if not, takes, check here. Check here. I don't know. I felt like I'm probably going to win that and go on to be fine. So anyway, here I did attack it, and he went check. And I didn't give this idea full credit, but I'm not sure how good it is. Check, here, check. Okay, my king's super active, right? Like, I'm going to help checkmate the king now with my king. Engine says +6. Wow. He takes, I take. Okay, we go here. Oh, okay, I did not notate past this point, but I'm pretty sure I played this move just to protect the pawn. I think he went here. And then I'm pretty sure I did something like this. That seems reasonable. He went f5 or something like that. Yeah, and it just feels like white is much better here, right? We're up a pawn. I've got this past c pawn. My king's like amazingly active. This king's terrible on the back rank. Cut off by my rook. My rook's awesome. This rook, yeah, he's going to get in and do stuff, but it shouldn't be enough. Computer says +9. I went on to play the game, drop all my pawns, get a losing position, and then flag. So that's what happens when you're not used to playing quickly over the board and your opponent is a kid who's pretty strong, you know? Like Snehan's no joke, right? Gotta watch out for Snehan. So kudos to Snehan. He outplayed me in the end, especially. And he stole a bunch of rating points from me. So, but I'm happy to give them to you, Snehan. So we'll go from there. And now I will continue with my next game. Okay, bye.